big surprise to me has been just the month after month, quarter after quarter, the goalposts are moving, and what constituted best practice last year is no longer good enough this year. You have to separate the hype and the demos from the reality of the implementations. You're completely divorced from the hype when you're talking about real practical implementation challenges.
Welcome to another episode of the Alpha Intelligence Podcast. Today I'm joined by James Corcoran. He's head of AI and analytics at Stack, a global group that works with financial firms to test and benchmark the technologies they rely on. James is based in Cork, Ireland, and has spent years working at the intersection of finance, data, and AI. He's also a certified risk manager and holds a master's in quantitative finance. Excited to have him here, which we've been trying to do for the last few weeks. As we were getting started, we were talking about the travel tour you've been on. Maybe you could start with what the last few weeks have been like, maybe the kind of questions you get from folks and where you see us in this AI framework.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, thanks a billion, Matt, for having me on. Big fan of the podcast, and it's great to be here. Last few weeks and months been busy, like everyone else working in the AI space, right? So much going on. Just keeping on top of everything isn't a job in itself. But yeah, over the last few weeks, we've had several conferences for our customers, which they're top banks, top hedge funds, and trading firms. In the financial services industry, and we've been in Singapore, London, New York, and Chicago. So I'm just back from that leg of trips, and straight away it's back into the research part of my job. So we do a lot of research into new and emerging technology platforms. We do a lot of benchmarking of different technology platforms as they relate to and are applied to financial services use cases and workloads. So everything is very user centric, and we can get into some of that. But right now I've got my research hat on, and we're doing a lot of interesting work in the space.
Who's the point person for a lot of these companies? Because it seems like these roles are sort of new. Obviously, if you're like chief technology officer, like who's the point person you're talking to?
There's different organizational models that I've observed. Most recently saw Jamie Dimon speaking at a conference. Was saying his chief AI officer reports directly into him. So that's one way of doing it, to sort of elevate the AI conversation directly to the C-suite within the bank. The other model that I've heard quite a bit of is you've got this sort of AI center of excellence. Quite a few firms, I think, are doing this, where you've got a centralized team responsible for keeping on top of the latest AI research, maybe developing the bank's own AI research. Quite a few banks actually are publishing papers, which is really encouraging to see. And then developing policies, and then leaving sort of the implementation of the AI to the application teams which sit within the lines of business. So I think that's quite a sensible model. I've seen it being built out and deployed in several of our customers, and it seems to be working well.
I remember sometimes at Bloomberg when they put out an update, you could do new and old, right? You'd have like the function be like the same application or the old application, and some people were like on the same old application for years. They're like, I don't want the new one. I know
Exactly.
where things are in the old one.
Exactly. Sometimes it's easier to stay comfortable.
Are you getting a lot of interest from financial firms in that they want everything designed on premises because they don't want to be sending their data out
Yes,
to the APIs?
we have a lot of those customers, and that requirement is common across many of the big players. There's an analogy there because before kind of Gen AI, like we do a lot of research and still doing benchmarking in the machine learning space. Before machine learning, we did a lot of stuff and still doing the analytics space and the trading and the low latency space. So we were very well used to having air-gapped environments, very tightly locked down infrastructure where there's a single path for data to flow through. It's very well governed, and it's the exact same firms, the same cast of characters who are responsible for implementing AI, at the firm level. And so you have all of the same concerns and the same thinking, and that gets you sort of designed for all of the non-functional requirements. As much as it's fun to look at, which model is best of doing a maths problem or whatever on the functional side, the non-functional stuff is what takes up the vast majority of the time in many cases.